Hi, welcome to our project presentation. Our project is called Boat Engine. My name is Xiaoming. I teamed up with Xiang on this project. Let's get started. So what is Boat Engine? Boat Engine is a SDK or application framework which provides some core NLP capability to enable the developer to build a boat application easily. Such application could be like hotel booking services, or could be a home center, which can be controlled by voice to turn on or off your TV or switch on or off your lights. And our boat engine is basically inspired by a Microsoft language understanding intelligence service and boat framework. We basically implement their core functionality in our framework. And our boat engine, when we design our boat engine, we made this boat engine is most configuration based, which means developer only need to add some utterance and configuration intent or entities to add some natural language understanding to their application. And they don't need to do all this in code. They just need to do some configuration settings. And also, our boat engine is extensible, which means the developer can extend our framework to support various communication channels. For example, Facebook Messenger, or Slack, MSN, or any kind of like interactive UI. And also, developer can write all kinds of services to serve users' requests. So let's talk about the framework itself. So the framework is a lot of like classes and written in Python. We have 4 major classes, and I'm going to talk one by one each. So the first one is our core classes. It's called intent recognizer. It's a classifier to capture users' intent from a message. So it's a text classifier, and given a message, this classifier can tell what's user intent, also what entities in this message, in this intent. So when I say entity, we could think entity as a parameter when we do the function call. So this intent recognizer provides the core NLP capability in our framework. And the second class is channel. The channel is actually the UI, and it encapsulates the communication between the user and the service. So it translates the user request to the format the service can understand, and also translate back the output from the service to the user interface. So we implement a command line based channel, and the user can actually, the developer can extend the channel to support various channels like Facebook Messenger, web service, etc. And the third one is dialogue. So dialogue actually manage communication, conversation between the boat application and the UI. And so the dialogue is the kind of like to route the user request and from the channel and to the service. And also it can manage the context in the conversation. The fourth one, the last one, the service. Service is actually the business logic usually written by the developer and to satisfy users' request. And such requests could be like search hotel or or make a booking. And usually when we identify an intent by this intent recognizer, we always, as a developer, to call a function in the service to satisfy the user's request. Okay, so here's the whole picture and in our boat engine. On the top is a developer developed boat application. It could be like hotel boat application or any kind of like chatbot. So it initializes a communication from the dialogue, and like user can interact with the boat engine and send a message, and the message is encapsulated in the dialogue, and such message will go through channel, and the channel will translate such message format from the user specific UI to the internal format, which can be recognized by the service or intent recognizer. Okay, so when a message arrived through channel, and the dialog will call the intent recognizer to recognize or to classify which intent this message belong to, and then the dialog will, based on the intent, will call the service to serve such request. So we can see the dialog actually is like a router. It's like a centralized router to control the flow between the internet recognizer service and the channel. Okay, so let's talk about the classifier. So classifier is actually the core NLP capability we implement in this boat engine. And when we say the classifier, people always think about like the general classifier like SVM, naive Bayes, and some other like classifier. In our approach, we actually use information retrieval approach and use a BM25 to be specific. The reason we do that is because we need to identify which utterance match user's request better or best. And we need to identify in the utterance level instead of just the label level, because we need to extract the entity in such utterance. And in order to do so, we need to use a more granular like classifier. So information retrieval ranker serve this request very well. And when we identify a utterance which can match user request, we also extract the entity from this utterance, and the entity varies on the utterance level, which means different utterance could have a different entity set. Okay, so we also do some very simple analysis chain provided by the Meta toolkit, and we just use unigram, ICU, lowercase, and stammer filtering. We don't actually use stop word. The reason for that is because the message sent by the user usually is very short. We want to capture as many information as possible in order to search through and find the utterance. So that's why we only use a very simple analyzer chain. Okay, so I give a very brief introduction on our boat engine, and if you are interested, you can just go and download our source code to take a look. So I'm going to do next is do a demo, and on this framework, we build a hotel chatbot based on this framework. And to build such chatbot, we first we actually prepare some training data, and in the training data we identify some utterance which present the possible user request message, and we also label this utterance with intent, and such utterance or the intent is also traditionally called the corpus and also the label. So for the entity, we define each entity inside the utterance. So we're going to show this how this works later by checking all these the messages. So also in this hotel chatbot, we defined some intents. For example, greeting, search hotel, book hotel, and some very common like command like help and goodbye. And in order to make this work, we wrote two Python file. One is hotelbot.py, which is a main function for this chatbot. It's a command line based chatbot. And also we also implement the hotel serve.py. It's actually extension to the bot engine service class to serve hotel release request. And in such file, we don't do a lot of the things. We just make some demo output, and basically to show how it works. So if you want to try our demo or try our framework, you can install from this address. It's in the GitLab. And also, once you clone this Git, you also need to install some dependent Python libraries. For example, MetaPy, PyTorML, and also data utility, these three package. So now let's see some code and configuration files. Okay, so this is our hotel bot main file. And this is a very simple file, and just like 10 lines of code, we can write our first hotel chatbot application. So this chatbot leverages the command line based channel, which is a command line based UI between the chatbot and the user. And also we make a hotel service as a service. Then we use a dialog to combine all this together. In this loop, we just keep asking user input and then call the service, the hotel service, to satisfy user's request. Let's also take a look on the hotel serve.py. And this is an extension to the service class. And in this class, we actually map the intent to the function, one intent to one function. For example, search hotel intent will call the search hotel function here. Okay, it's very simple. So we also make some like fake output. Okay, so let's check the sample data. So here's the data, the utterance data. So one line for one utterance. And you can see we made some utterance which represent the possible user input to this hotel bot application. And also you can see inside the utterance we have some like the entity, we call this entity inside $2. And this entity is work as a parameter when we doing the function, when we doing the service function call. The bot engine job is to extract this entity from the user message and send to the service together with the intent. Okay, so all this data, we have a companion file is the label. So label is just the intent for each utterance. One utterance have one intent. It's a one-to-one mapping. Okay, so let's take a look on how this hotel boat demo work. So in the command line, assuming you already download all the source code and the demo, and also installed all the dependent packages, and this is in this command line, we can just type Python hotel boat.py. Here we go. So it gives some greeting message, and in this command line we can just type something and trying to see how it works. It's hi. So it's written ni hao. Ni hao is a Chinese word for hello, and also we can do help. It gives some output, so you can search and go get hotel review and make a booking here. So let's say I want to search a hotel in Seattle. I want to see which hotel can be found in Seattle. Let's do search hotel in Seattle. Okay, so here's a fake output, and from our service. The service actually output this based on the intent the boat framework identified. Let's also see, we want to show some get some review of some specific hotel. Let's say show review. Okay, because I don't provide the hotel name, this framework asks me which hotel I'm looking for. So let's say I want to look for Four Seasons. Okay, so here's the output. So which means this boat engine recognize the Four Seasons, the entity Four Seasons for this review intent. Let's try some something harder. Let's trying to do some booking. Okay, let's say I want to book a hotel. Book hotel in Seattle. Let's see what happened. Okay, so here's the output. From the output, we probably can see something wrong. It seems like this output is the same with the search intent. So what happened? So actually the problem is on the training data. And in the training data, we don't actually have that matching search, matching booking utterance. So let's add this. For example, we add this utterance. Book hotel in blah 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 in the place, and also some room nights. And also let's add this intent. Intent is book hotel. Then let's see what happened next. So let's quit this, and I'm going to remove the index, and let's do it again. So this time I'm going to do the same, book hotel in Seattle. Okay, here we go. So in this output, we see this boat asked me to provide the hotel. Why? Because in this utterance, we have three entities. We have 4 entities. Place name is Seattle. Hotel name we haven't provided. Also the room nights and the check-in days, which means we should provide these 3 entities in order for the service to call the function and do some like business logic there. Okay, so let's say I want to book hotel for Four Seasons. Four Seasons. Okay, how many nights? Let's say I want to stay for 3 nights, and when do I need to check in? Let's say I want to check in by like February 2nd. 2018. Okay, so here's the result. From the result, we can see it recognized the Four Seasons as a hotel name and Seattle as a city where the hotel stay, and also check-in time is correct, and also the nights, 3 nights. Okay, so from this demo, we can see is how easy developer can build their own chatbot by leveraging this bot engine, and it's also very easy to add such natural language capability to their application, but just a couple of lines. And so feel free to try this, and you can give us some feedback and how to improve this application. So that's it, and thank you for watching our presentation.